Hey everyone, Internet Vicious Book Reader here. Today I want to talk about Out There Screaming by Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, in case if you don't know, started his fame as a comedian duo with Keegan Michael Key as the duo in the sketch comedy show Key and Peele. But both of them has mostly separated after the show, with Keegan doing more acting role and Peele become a director that's been coming out with a lot of really great horror movie. Nope, Us and Get Out is all great horror movie if you like horror that wasn't just cheap jump scares. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I bought this online and in the website, I thought it said by Jordan Peele because his name is on the front cover, but as the cover mentioned, it's an anthology, which is kind of a short story collection, but it's usually by different authors. And sometimes it's just a collection of an author's short stories from different times, for example like the legendary Akira Toriyama's manga theater or the Love, Death, Robot series on Netflix. It is only edited by Jordan Peele with the word edited by in a smaller font, and the word Jordan Peele is a bit bigger. The actual authors of the book is at the back of the book, but since you already clicked the video, why not stick around? There's some genuine good stories here. I'll try to explore some of the stories and explain them a little bit to give you a taste on what kind of stories you can get from the book. In the first story, Reckless Eyeballing by N.K. Jemisin, we follow Carl, a traffic police whose job is to stop people in the street who he thinks are doing something wrong. It's just for Carl, most people are doing something wrong. He stops people for being black, he stops people for looking like a hippie, he stops people for looking at him in a way that he don't like. Thankfully, he got the best job in the best country on earth, so he can always choose violence if people are being uncooperative. He got a gun and a license to use it any way he likes after all. He even planted a gun on this rich dude he doesn't like so he can get his Porsche. It's better it belonged to him after all rather than the hippie that used to own it. He can do anything, and even if he's caught with anything, he'll just get transferred after a while. Cops look out for themselves after all. But lately he's been seeing eyes in other people's car, and even when he makes sure that every camera is off including his own body cam, they still did not go away. Things got worse for Carl when a video of him shoving his baton to an old hijab-wearing woman got viral. Thankfully, cops look out for themselves, so he only got transferred to his college beau who he also decided to sell his Porsche to. Immediately after selling the car, he stopped seeing the eyes. But that doesn't mean that everything gets better, because once Bo had the car, it stopped working for some reason. And worse, Bo started having dreams about Carl's activities that are supposed to be unknown, like doing things to a girl with an OnlyFans or punching a boy for crashing his own dad's car. Punishment that he gives because only he can give them, and no one can stop Carl from giving this punishment, not even his friend Bo. Honestly, it's a solid short story. I don't think there's any way to make it longer and still be as interesting, but since cops in America is already a nightmare to deal with without any fiction, so a story where we follow the perspective of a narcissistic psychopath that have no conscience and then given a bit of mysticism twist that makes you question if it's supernatural or hallucination makes for a solid read, and this is just the first story. The second one is I Am Tooth by Rebecca Roanhorse. Here we follow Zelda and Atticus, a sibling of Monster Hunter in a modern era, kinda like Supernatural. Their service has less customer now that social media has made people able to deal with this monster themselves, but sometimes they still got a call like today that might be too complicated for a DIY project. So they went to the client where they meet Washington and her granddaughter Dolores to do some monster hunting. The second story is giving a bit more young adult vibe with a couple of one-liners thrown here and there, but they never got so bad to ruin the whole story. There's still some interesting story here. It's just too bad that this one felt like it's just a sneak peek of a story that's larger than what is told in the book. But nevertheless, we move on to the third story, Wandering Devil by Caldwell Turnbull. Here we follow Freddy, a boy whose mother has left him to go after her dream. Freddy only saw his mother through the television as he grew older because she's a singer. Not only his mother, but even his grandfather has abandoned him ages ago, gone without anyone knowing where he'd go. Because of this, Freddy chose a life of a wanderer that moved from one place to another. That is until he met Dyla and they both fall in love with each other. After a while, they decided to move in together, but that wanderlust still haven't left Freddy. He still wanted to live just like his mother and grandfather. And this after a warning from an old man, a prophecy that if he made the same mistake that his predecessors did and leave Dyla, there will be consequences. This is not a nice short story. It felt almost like a pure romance at first, but the horror element still hit quite hard near the end. It's also a good story that symbolizes generational mistake that goes on from one generation to the next. Then we move on to the next story, Invasion of the Baby Snatcher by Leslie Nika Arima. The story involves alien abduction and forced pregnancy. It's quite a complex story with quite a dark premise, but the author is trying to cram so much here into the short story that most of the story is just exposition dump. This story shows how much the range can vary between this kind of anthology series. I think it's inspired by body autonomy and their respective issue. It's very rich in creativity, but the execution definitely needs a lot more time booking. The good news is we move on to the other one, like literally, the other one, by Violet Allen. Here our main character Angela is still feeling the effect of a recent breakup from his ex-boyfriend Oglethorpe, a silly name and an even sillier person. But Angela is also not that mature of a person herself. One day, unable to sleep, she saw two flies going at it and talk about his ex, so she messaged him. He texted back or just his number. Some girl texted back using his phone. His ex already replaced him with a new one. And this chick is a bit crazy. She asked to meet and bring her money, and she sent Angela a picture of Oglethorpe's heart, like his literal heart or something that looks like a real and bloody human heart. This is another solid one. The ending is a bit rough, but it's a great subversion of expectation of the cliché crazy ex-girlfriend trope. Then we move to the next story, The Sirens by Erin A. Adams. Wideline is the oldest of the three sisters. She tells the story of her life by playing two truths, one lie. Her first lie is her first language, which is not English but Haisia Creole, that came from the lullaby her father used to sing to her and her two younger sisters, Lovely and Mary, before her father left the family for another woman in another town. They live well, taking care of each other as much as they can even without their father, but one day Mary was lost, possibly kidnapped, and worse, one night Mary came back, or something else that resembled Mary. This is another one where the ending still needs some more works, but it shows how creative the author is. Imagine telling a story using two truths, one lie, and manage to tell a compelling narrative at all. It's also the closest of all the stories so far that have a cosmic horror vibe, which I personally really like. I think that's a good batch to end the video. I'm not gonna give you every stories that the book have because I think it's more fun for you guys to find out yourself on some of them. Just like the three Jordan Peele movie where Get Out is a thriller, Us is a slasher horror, and Nope is an alien horror. This anthology also had a lot of different genre including sci-fi and cosmic vibe that I mentioned. Even if the focus of the book I think is to highlight various black authors, they don't all focus on the same story or even the same theme because they are not a monolith. Anthology itself has always been a great medium for different artists to showcase not only their skill but their uniqueness, and this one is also no different. They did a great job here. You might not like every single story here, there are 19 of them after all. Chances are you have a few that you won't like, but I'm sure you'll find something you like, and maybe after that you can check out all the author's personal works. I do wish Jordan Peele did something similar with this book but with different animators and create something like Love, Death Robot. He's also a fan of anime after all from the Akira thread he didn't know. I think that would be the logical next step after this book. I give this book a 4. What do you think? Are you gonna read it? Did I miss anything? Leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it.